It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Tyler Keefe. As always, you can keep tuned with us on the web on civiccentertv.com, as well as on our social media, Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, as well as X, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel, all at Civic Center TV. Over the weekend, the biggest event in town was the 2025 Black Expo, put on by the West Bloomfield Diversity Taskforce, which brought people from all over greater West Bloomfield and beyond to the ever-busy Orchard Mall. All the festivities, a lot of fun in those few hours on Saturday afternoon. Our Kevin McIntosh was out there. If you missed it, here's a little overview of what went on at this year's Black Expo.
Celebrating Black History Month, the 2025 Black Expo is bringing a vibrant showcase of Black-owned businesses, career resources, and family-friendly activities to West Bloomfield. I'm here at Orchard Mall talking to a few local entrepreneurs and community members about why this event is so important.
This feels really great because it gives me an opportunity to introduce myself to the community, whereas I was just doing everything in my house before. Now I get to come out and meet the people that I live with, and we've met a lot of people here so far, and it's a great experience for me.
People are helpful. So this is our first event, so a lot of people came and gave us good tips and advice, so that worked out really good. I really appreciated that.
As the greater West Bloomfield community came together to support local Black entrepreneurs, West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder and Treasurer Terry Weingarten reflect on how it got started.
Well, I think we have a diversity task force, and the diversity task force was looking for a way to highlight Black businesses and anything that might be of interest to our diverse community and meet the needs. So at some point, I don't know if I can recall, we came up with the concept of Black Expo, and it took off right away. I mean, there was definitely a need. The vendors came out, and then the people came out.
We had some free vendor areas, and so we were encouraging minority businesses to come and set up tables for free, and that was just a portion of our event. And then you've heard about the force that was Sherry Ann. So Sherry Ann was like, I really like that idea. What if I created a whole Black Expo, something we'd never thought about? And we're like, wow. And she's like, I would create it. And we're like, here you go. So we basically handed over all of our vendor names, and then Parks and Rec had some vendor names, and everyone pitched in. And then over time, it became this amazing event at the Orchard Mall. The first year it was a little smaller. We didn't have as many vendors, and not as many people knew about it. But we had such amazing artisans come that soon people knew all about it, and it's become a very popular event in West Bloomfield.
During the Black Expo, patrons paid their respect to Sherry Ann Winter, and some community members, like Mark Ingram of Bloomfield Toastmasters, shared kind words about her legacy.
Everybody knew her, and she touched a lot of lives here. She believed strongly in Toastmasters. She believes strongly in the Black youth here. She believes strongly in West Bloomfield School District. And she brought all of that together. She can't be replicated. I'm just trying to do my little part here today.
We got a chance to speak with local entrepreneurs Lucretia Shane and Emily Rucker to talk about how it feels to be supported in a diverse community such as West Bloomfield.
I am ecstatic. I used to live in West Bloomfield, in the 90s. And one thing about West Bloomfield, they're for the people. It's not just for, you have ethnic groups, you have all kind of people that's here. And to be here today to represent Black Expo here says it loud.
The fact that we are everywhere, and the community in West Bloomfield, I'm learning today, is so diverse. Even down to the high school, Black folks actually make up the majority in this minority neighborhood. So just seeing that we are present, that people actually care and do want to see us here and actually support us, that's a major thing, and we need to see much more of that in the world.
With so many opportunities to learn, connect, and celebrate, the Black Expo is always an event to look forward to. From the Orchard Mall, I'm Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV.
We'll get back out to Kevin with even more from the Black Expo in just a moment. But it really was an interesting day. It was such a cool event at the Orchard Mall to see so many people pack into that mall. It's pretty busy on a regular day, but for a special event of this kind, even more that much special because of all the people that were there from all across our community and so many different disciplines showing off their works and showing off their creativity at this Black Expo in 2025. All part of the Diversity Task Force's efforts to connect our community both within Greater West Bloomfield, but also some special connections far and beyond our local area, as Kevin McIntosh found out with a clothing designer.
I'm Kevin McIntosh with Civic Center TV here at the Orchard Mall for the 2025 Black Expo. Black business owners and entrepreneurs showcasing and displaying their different goods and services right here in the Greater West Bloomfield area. I'm here right now with Jerry Tigner, owner of Vapoa, here showcasing her goods here. Thank you for being here.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about what you have here today and a little bit about the story behind your brand.
Okay then. So my company is based in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. That is an East African country along the Indian Ocean coastline, sub-Saharan, so it's tropical all the time. It's a beautiful country. My company, Vapoa, value-added products out of Africa, I created in Tanzania in September of 2023. Out of Vapoa, I work with women batik makers and women tailors whom I have assisted in setting up their own businesses. I assist them further by supplying working capital, buying their batik fabrics that we then take to tailors, women tailors in Tanzania, who make all these beautiful products that you see. We have a full line of the Tanza Totes collection. Handbags, totes, cell phone cases. All of this came about as a result of me being in Tanzania working on another project, and I just ran into all this beautiful batik fabric and became fascinated with the possibilities. And knowing that women there make all of these fabrics by hand. Everyone sews in Tanzania. They are wonderful tailors. However, they had not done this kind of work before. So I've worked with them making patterns, designing products that I bring into the U.S. to sell.
Okay, so we're looking at a lot of beautiful products, unique products here. Tell us a little bit about the process of how they're made and what makes them so unique also.
Okay, so the fabric design is called batik, B-A-T-I-K.
Okay, can I pick up one of these?
Yes, you can, please.
Okay.
So batik is a fabric design that was started in Indonesia hundreds of years ago. And it migrated to the east coast of Africa. It's made primarily on the east coast of Africa in many countries, Tanzania, Kenya, and some other countries along the coastline of the Indian Ocean. But the process is all labor intensive because it's all handmade. This piece of batik fabric started out as white 100% cotton, if you can believe it. They use what they call a wax resist method. They make molds by hand, designs on hard foam molds that they then proceed to dip into hot wax, paraffin wax. They impress, stamp, if you will, the mold onto the fabric, this white fabric. They then proceed to put it into a dye bath, and they select the colors, they create the dyes. Sometimes it's made by plants base, other times it's what they buy. You can actually buy the dyes as you would to dye fabric. And then they submerge. The first step is submerging that first piece of white fabric that's been stamped with the paraffin hot wax mold into a dye bath. And they submerge it, they boil it, they take it out, they let it dry, and then they go to the next color and the next stamp.
Okay,
so
layers and more
exactly. And as you can see from the various colors we have here, every color you see is a different dye application. So it's labor intensive, It's art. Every piece of batik fabric ends up being a unique piece. They typically make them in 3 to 4 meter lengths because this is not something that's done on an assembly or on a conveyor line. This is all handcrafted. If you go to my website, www.vapoa.net, VAPOA.net, there's a story how batik is made. It is a wonderful technique that produces just beautiful, beautiful fabrics that are unique, one of a kind, that you don't find here in the U.S.
Perfect. Okay, so tell us a little bit why it was important for you to bring these bags, this culture, to the Black Expo right here in West Bloomfield.
Well, again, as I just said, this is unique. We don't find this in the U.S. We don't find it here in Michigan. We don't find it in West Bloomfield. So this is a way to expand upon the knowledge of everybody what talented artisans and crafters in Tanzania, women specifically, are doing. They make all of this by hand. They make something out of nothing, and that's what has touched me to my core. I enjoy working with them. I'm learning to speak Swahili. I have immersed myself in their culture. I have met them where they are, and I have benefited as they have because I'm learning.
Beautiful.
And growing.
Beautiful story and collaboration. Once again, Jerry Tigner here representing VAPOA here at the Black Expo 2025 at the Orchard Mall in West Bloomfield. I'm Kevin McIntosh with Civic Center TV.
It's a beautiful day out at the Black Expo at the Orchard Mall, talking to Jerry and so many other creative people and business people from across Greater West Bloomfield. I mean, that was just about 5-6 minutes that Kevin had with Jerry there. We talked to her. I was his cameraman on that, by the way. So if you have anybody you want to blame for that, it's me right here. We talked to Jerry for about 30 minutes. It was so interesting hearing her story, hearing how she connects with people in Tanzania to create these boutique pieces of art that ultimately are great accessories for any outfit here in the Greater West Bloomfield area. So nice to talk to her and so many others at the 2025 Black Expo put on by the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force. The Black Expo, just one of many things done throughout the year to connect the community with its diverse populations through the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force. Joining us for more information on the task force and to reflect on the 2025 Black Expo is Vincent Kirkwood. Thank you so much for being with us, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Had a great weekend at the Black Expo with Kevin McIntosh and our team from Civic Center TV. And I know you and your team from the Diversity Task Force had an excellent time as well. Tell us about your experience in this year's version of the event, because much like in years past, there's a lot of excitement behind it, but it really seems like it's hit a new gear in 2025.
You know, every year it gets better, and I'm so happy. I'm so excited for all of the businesses that are able to participate, all of the volunteers, all of the shoppers, if you will, the residents that come out and see such an exciting event in the Black Expo. You see all kinds of people. You see kids, you see seniors, you see politicians, you see people who live in the community, you see business owners, and it's fantastic to see it grow as it has been. I think this is our 4th year of the Expo, and every year it gets better and better.
Yeah, I remember back in 2022, the very first Black Expo. Maddie Mushkin from our team was out there at the time, and it was a small, very unique event that was intimate and brought the community together, and got to see a little bit of all the great businesses and creative people that maybe are a little bit behind the scenes. And now it's just a massive event that takes up the entirety of the Orchard Mall for a few hours on a Saturday afternoon, and that place is packed. So going back to 2022 and before that with the task force, as you were all devising the Black Expo and the idea of this, how has it evolved over these past 4 years, 5 years now? And how does this current output of it reflect what the original intent was?
Well, let me first say that there is no Black Expo without the help of Sherry Ann Winter, who is unfortunately no longer with us. This was her baby. And when we started the task force, it was an idea that she had. to do the Black Expo. And when we did it at first, it was you know, people were interested. I don't know how many vendors we had, but we definitely didn't have what we had this year. It was definitely less. I was walking through the expo this year, and it was so many vendors I couldn't even kind of maneuver around. It was almost overwhelming, the amount of Black businesses that were there, the excitement, the smiles, and we did a whole memorial, if you will, of Sherry Ann. I don't know if you saw that, but we did a memorial of Sherry Ann, because we know how much this meant to her. And if you were at the expo in 2022, 23, 24, you would see that Sherry Ann was moving around and doing her thing and getting people to come to the expo and getting vendors, and to see her legacy, if you will, kind of continue on throughout the Black Expo was fantastic. I think we had about 75 vendors this year that were participating in the Black Expo. When Sherry Ann did it, when she was behind behind the expo, she would call people. She would, work out pricing for the vendor tables, and you go here and you go here. And she started at, you know, early in the morning, and she was always the last one there. And it was a fantastic experience. And to be able to see it continue to grow, um, it leaves a lasting mark on Sherry Ann's legacy, and I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Vincent Kirk was with us from the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force. Their HIT 2025 Greater West Bloomfield Black Expo at the Orchard Mall just recently. A fantastic event in 2025. It'll be back in 2026. And you spoke just now at length about the lasting legacy of Sherry Ann Winter. You worked so closely with her in the past years on Diversity Task Force initiatives, including the Black Expo. As we have now surpassed the first one of these expos without Sherry Ann really being the driving force behind it. You knew her so well. What do you think she would think about this past year's event and how the Black Expo went in 2025?
She would be excited. She would be delighted that it went as well as it did, and to continue to see it grow. I had mentioned we had about 75 vendors. Our goal was to reach 600 shoppers, and I think we did that. I don't have the numbers yet because it was just on Saturday, but she would be delighted and excited about the fact that the Black Expo is continuing in such a great length of what her vision was, what our vision was when we first talked about this. She would be excited. We had I know you talked about the vendors that was there, but we had t-shirt vendors, we had cupcake vendors, we had purse vendors, we had book authors, we had illustrators, we had smoothies, we had all kinds of things. And to see it grow into that, I know Sherry is smiling from heaven today about what she saw and what was able to happen at the Black Expo on Saturday.
Yeah, you walked in there and just immediately you felt a sense of friendship and belonging, whether you're in the Black community or not. That's something I noticed from so many people of so many diverse backgrounds that did attend this event. I mean, the second I walked in, we walked by, Creative Atmosphere was there. And it's a tough task, I believe, personally, to make my face look acceptable. And when there's a caricature artist there, I'm expecting, all the flaws are going to come out. I don't know about you, but I'm going to try to get this out of the light.
Good.
That's fantastic, Vincent. I was
really
so surprised. It was such a pleasant surprise. They came up, they told us they loved the splash. I'm sure they're watching right now, and we appreciate we give them a shout out as they were a big part of the Black Expo in 2025. But that welcoming environment, Vincent, that's really at the core of what the Black Expo is all about, and really what the Diversity Task Force is all about. Because while this is an event that highlights Black businesses and is part of Black History Month celebrations in our community, at the core, it's really about bringing these diverse populations of Greater West Bloomfield together.
That's what it's all about. You hit it right on. Our community, our township, is a mixture of all kinds of people, all kinds of religions, all kinds of cultures, and the Black Expo brought a lot of those people out to see what was happening. And I know this is Black History Month, and we're excited to highlight these Black-owned businesses in the month of February. But as you continue to follow the Diversity Task Force in West Bloomfield, we're going to do all kinds of events, and all kinds of events that celebrate the diversity, and that's what we're about. We're not here to separate or divide or anything like that. We're here to celebrate culture. We're here to celebrate unity, and that's one of the special things about West Bloomfield. We always talk about the parks and the native plants and things like that, which gives West Bloomfield the character that it has. I agree with that. That plus the culture and the diversity and the unity, those two things together is what makes West Bloomfield so special. As a member and the founding member of the Diversity Task Force, we're going to continue to do that. We're going to do that with the Black Expo in February next year. We're going to continue to do that throughout the months. And you're going to see that. And we want you to be a part of that and come out and celebrate culture and unity within West Bloomfield.
Vincent Kirkwood is with us from the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force on today's edition of the Splash Live. You can learn more about the Diversity Task Force, including ways you can get involved, on wbparks.org/diversity. Again, wbparks.org/diversity is the Diversity Task Force website for more info on events and other initiatives all throughout the year. And Vincent, especially in the times that we're living in, where there is so much debate about the melting pot of our country, the melting pot of our community here, certainly in Greater West Bloomfield applies to that as well. Why is now even more important than ever for people, if they want to get involved in the community in a way that connects everybody, to maybe try out being part of this Diversity Task Force?
You know, we talk about the administration, and we talk about so many things that are going on in our country. But to be honest with you, it starts locally. You have to do things locally, and the Diversity Task Force is a great way to get involved and to shine your light and to do something. We're welcoming everyone. If you have an idea, if you have an event you want to put on, if you have something that will bring the community together, we want to hear about it. And I think it starts locally. With the Diversity Task Force, it starts locally in West Bloomfield. If you can become a part of what we're trying to do, you're going to make a huge difference, and you're going to see that difference coming to fruition if you just share your ideas and be a part of our local community. So we welcome you to come in and be a part.
And of course, we think about these tentpole events throughout the year that the Diversity Task Force puts on that really do put that light on their efforts outside of the Black Expo and other events throughout the year. So what is being worked on? What are some things that maybe are in the hopper going forward for the Diversity Task Force to further that mission outside of select times of the year, but spread that out in bigger fashion all throughout the calendar year as you typically do?
Well, you want me to share some secrets, huh?
Sure, of course.
Well, we're working on a big initiative right now that where we can, we have a lot of help from the residents and the township community, but we're considering hiring a full-time person to become a part of the task force and to do some things that promote it, take it to the next level, work with the schools, work with the township, work with the library, work with Parks and Rec, to kind of continue to grow this. As you know, we passed our millage for West Bloomfield Parks and Rec to become even a bigger deal and a bigger platform and a bigger footprint in West Bloomfield. But we want to do the same with the task force. We know that the task force is ran by the residents. It's powered by the residents. So we want to continue that, but we want to continue to grow it as well. So if you want to be a part of the task force, please join us now. This is the time to do that as we continue to create ideas and promote the task force and the things that we want to do. We can't do what we want to do without help from our residents. So if you have an idea, if you have a thought, if you have something you want to see, definitely join us on our meetings, and you'll see that happen.
wbparks.org/diversity is the website for the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force. Vincent Kirkwood is one of their members with us today on the Splash Live as we reflect on the 2025 Black Expo and learn even more about the Diversity Task Force's efforts all throughout the year. Vincent, you mentioned you have meetings as a task force and all those other events and initiatives throughout the year. So if people do want to get involved, of course, we gave the website for them to learn more information. But what does that sort of involvement look like for an individual that wants to join in on the task force?
Absolutely. So you mentioned wbparks.org/diversity. Go there. There's an opportunity for you to put your email in, and we will be able to contact you and share more information about our meetings, about our events, and you can become a member of the task force simply by going to that website, putting in your information, and someone on our task force will reach out to you with meeting dates and more information. And also at the Black Expo, there was an opportunity at the table where I was sitting for you to sign. So we had a lot of people sign up, your name and your email. More information about the task force will come to you that way. But also, as you mentioned, wbparks.org/diversity. You'll be able to put in your information, and then we'll be someone from our team will be in contact with you for sure.
Plenty more to come all throughout the year with the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force, and even more fun and really interesting initiatives coming up in the years to come as well. Vincent, before we let you go, anything else we should know at this time about the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force?
No, there's nothing new. Thank you all for coming to the Expo, and stay tuned for what's next. It's going to be an exciting year, 2025, with the Diversity Task Force.
Well, we appreciate your time, and thank you so much for joining us to reflect on the 2025 Black Expo and tell us even more about the Diversity Task Force. Vincent Kirkwood with us today on the Splash Live. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. wbparks.org/diversity. That's the website to go to for more information. You'll get updates on their upcoming events and ways that you can get in contact with them to join the task force and become part of their team as they plan some of these fun events and activities all throughout the year to promote the melting pot that is the greater West Bloomfield community. At the 2025 Black Expo, we had a chance to meet so many people from business backgrounds, creative backgrounds that were selling products, but other people were there too as well to learn more about important topics that affect not only the greater West Bloomfield Black community, but communities all across greater West Bloomfield and beyond with common issues. Kevin McIntosh had a chance to get to the bottom of one of those critical issues and some great resources that are available in the Tri-County area.
Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV, here at the Orchard Mall for the 2025 Black Expo. I'm here right now with Reg Williams talking about his organization and what they have going on. Thank you for being here, Reg.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us a little bit about your organization you have going on today.
I'm here on behalf of the Judson Center reaching out to the community in regards to being foster parents. We have over 10,000 children in the metro area that need placement. So we always try to encourage people to open their hearts and open their homes.
So this is very interesting. It's essentially like encouraging and advocating for fosterhood, foster parents, and things like that. Can you just explain why that's important in the Black community and Black households?
Definitely, it's an underserved market, and in the community, especially in Wayne County, it's probably the county that has the most, and it's predominantly Black. So we definitely need that. But one thing about, foster care and even adoption is it's colorless. That's the one thing about it. If you love somebody, love is colorblind. So it doesn't matter about color, but I'm glad that we're here at the Black Expo.
Yeah. And with that being said, just talk about why it was important for you all to be here and give your message across here at the Black Expo.
I think the importance is, community outreach. Diversity is the spice of life. And we want to be here to support the Black entrepreneurs out here in West Bloomfield.
Okay. All right, so lastly, just talk about what do you want people to take away from not only visiting the Black Expo event, but visiting your booth here?
Take away the experience, talking with us, interacting, and finding out a little bit about foster care, gathering information, because what we do is we'll have people sign up, we'll have them actually take an online, what's the word I'm looking for, online? Orientation. Sometimes we get a little tongue-tied, but yes, in regards to that. And all the things that we give away, the swag and stuff, has our information on it. And even, we bought things for Black History Month as well as it is wrapping up.
Right. Perfect. And thank you again. Once again, Reg Williams just talking about fosterhoods and being a foster parent right here in West Bloomfield at the Orchard Mall 2025 Black Expo. I'm Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV.
Appreciate that, Kevin. Appreciate Reg's time as well. As he said, this is an issue that affects anybody and can affect any community across greater West Bloomfield and beyond. And luckily, we have excellent resources across southeastern Michigan for people to make sure that these kids do get into good foster homes and ultimately into good homes beyond that so that they can live a vibrant life. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, more from the 2025 Black Expo, plus opportunities for your kids to gain some experience in leadership. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. And now, back to the Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you so much for joining us. At the 2025 Black Expo, you had an opportunity to meet a lot of people from various backgrounds, doing a lot of creative efforts in our community, from those making boutique art to those making drawings and paintings and so much more, but also some of Greater West Bloomfield's finest storytellers that may even teach you a few lessons along the way, as our Kevin McIntosh learned himself.
Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV, here at the Orchard Mall for the West Bloomfield 2025 Black Expo. Right now, I'm here with a local author, Indea Canty. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you have some beautiful, very vibrant books right here that you are the author of. Can you just talk about a little bit about your inspiration to being an author?
Yes. So I am the author of The Magical Shell and I See God. I write children's books that inspire outdoor play, literacy, self-confidence, and imagination. I created my books out of a need for more adventure, more interesting storylines, more diverse representation, inspired by my daughter, who is now 7 years old.
Beautiful. And you have actual reading books here. You have coloring books here. Can you just talk about the process to actually making your books?
The process of making the book was actually very easy. The storylines came to me within a day. I wrote them down, and I ended up having a story. I self-published all of my books under my own company called 100-Fold Return Publishing. And through this process, I've been able to just connect with so many different businesses, not only locally and within West Bloomfield, but also in Detroit and Pontiac and Macomb.
So why do you feel like it's important to not only have books that are made and written by Black authors, but also have books that highlight Black characters as well?
Yes. So there's so many different styles and cultures within the Black culture that I feel like a lot of times just don't get the recognition that it needs. So this wonderful boy, Johnny and the Magical Shell, he's actually from Ghana. And then I have different representation in I See God, some red hair. I just feel like we all need to be seen within the books that we read.
Perfect, perfect. Now just talk about being here, a part of the Black Expo, right? You're here, you're representing your books, you want them to be out. Just talk about why it's important for you to even be here representing your books today.
It's always important to represent my own business, for one, but I actually have enjoyed connecting with the other businesses here. I've enjoyed being able to meet people on the West Bloomfield Township committee, all of these different people that have embraced my business and who have embraced me and everything that I'm working to do within our children.
Do you have any words of wisdom, motivation for anybody who may be an inspiring author and want to do something like this but may not know where to start?
Just do it. Write the story. Just write the story. There's so many people that want to be authors and aspire to be authors. Just write the story. And then once you write the story, everything else will fall in place. Just walk by faith. That's all I did. I had no idea how to do what I was doing. I just wrote the story, and then it led me into this journey where it's just been the most rewarding journey.
Perfect. Great story, and great stories told and illustrated right here in these books locally at the Black Expo 2025 at the Orchard Mall. I'm Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV.
Appreciate Kevin for that story and for talking with Ndea and so many others at the 2025 Black Expo. If you're just tuning in, you can find all of those stories and those conversations on CivicCenterTV.com. A great way to keep up to date with everything that we're doing here at Civic Center TV is to follow us on social media. Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, then on X and on Instagram, and subscribing for free to our YouTube page at Civic Center TV as well. You'll get notifications on YouTube if you hit that bell icon also every time that we go live with The Splash or other special programming, and when we upload new segments, including from right here on this show each and every day throughout your work week. Get the latest from across the greater West Bloomfield area. For kids in greater West Bloomfield, they may be seeking leadership opportunities, chances to learn from people who have been there and done that across industries that maybe they have future aspirations in. Leadership Oakland has a special program just for the kids of high school age right here in greater West Bloomfield and beyond. Joining me to tell us even more is Susan Holliday from Leadership Oakland. Susan, thank you so much for being with us.
As always, Tyler, great to see you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to have you on to talk about Junior Leadership Oakland. It's a new program. It's just kicking off as we speak. Got some exciting activities coming up in the coming months for kids across our community. Tell us about this new program.
Yeah, it's actually been around for a while. So as you know, we have an adult program where we take 50 leaders every year and put them through our 9-month leadership program. One of the things they have to do before they graduate is a day of service. So back in 2008, one of our classes decided to do a 3-day leadership workshop, and it was so well done, so well received by the community. We've continued it ever since. So this is our 17th year now holding Junior Leadership Oakland. It's a 3-day workshop, free to any high school student in Oakland County or the region.
And so it's not a new program. It's a program that's existed for a long time. But we want to get the word out because maybe people don't know about this. Parents, certainly students, may not know that this is even available to them. And if they want to work on their leadership, or parents want to get kids involved in something that could be constructive to them now and into the future, how does Junior Leadership Oakland help to build up those skills in our high school kids?
You know, that's a great question. And I appreciate us getting the word out. You know, during the pandemic, we had to take a couple of years off. So we are back. And, you know, this is probably our 3rd year back since COVID. And like I said, it's a 3-day workshop. And really what we want to do is encourage them to expand their leadership skills. We know every student is a leader in some way. And so this is our adult program that you're showing right here, which is this year's class of our adult. But this is a spinoff, really, is we want to develop leaders early. So one of the things that we teach is a personality assessment, that, you know, so they can learn what is their personality style and how to interact with other students and other leaders that they may run into. We talk about how to get out of your comfort zone. We do a field trip. So we take them to a couple local businesses to kind of showcase what's here in our county that they could get involved in the future. There's our junior LO students right there. That was last year's class. So last year we had 35 students from 18 different high schools in the region. So a great way to meet other students and develop your leadership skills.
Yeah, it's a remarkable class to have 35 kids from across the Oakland County area participating in this program, getting to know each other, sharing some ideas, growing together. That's an incredible program that people need to know about and hopefully will get engaged with. And so, Susan, as we think about Junior Leadership Oakland and we compare it to other leadership programs that may be available in our local school districts or throughout the state or even nationally, how does this compare in terms of the requirements that may be necessary in order to get into this program?
Yeah, we make them really think about it. What are your aspirations? What do you think you want to do in the future? But we also ask them, what are the challenges that youth are facing today? And that really helps us structure the curriculum so we're addressing some of those issues. But I think two of the key things, like I said, we had 35 students from 18 different high schools. So you get an opportunity to meet students you might not get to meet. And then I think the other unique thing is we have a resource fair and we bring in experts, not only from the universities and colleges, but there are so many organizations out there that have youth boards where high school students can get involved at an early age and become part of their leadership team. Easter Seals is a good example, the neighborhood house in Rochester. So we expose them to opportunities that once they leave our program, they can maybe take a step in getting more involved in their community and taking their leadership to that next level.
The Junior Leadership Oakland program is open to all high school students across Oakland County. You can find more information on their website, leadershipoakland.com. Joining us on the Splash Live is the Executive Director of Leadership Oakland, Susan Holliday, as we talk more about this program. And there's so many great skills that you can learn in a leadership program, especially as you're out and about in the community and you're consulting with people in positions of leadership across our local communities, Susan. But ultimately, the impact is what we're looking for here, especially parents looking to get their kids involved in something like this. So what have you seen in terms of results from past participants who've gone through this program and then taken those skills and put them into action?
That's a great question, Tyler. And I can give you an example. We have a gentleman who was actually a student in junior LO1 and came back every year and talked to the students in the program. One year he was studying abroad and we had him on a screen, to talk to the students. He now is a successful attorney and in the community and actually has gone through our adult program. We have a couple other individuals that joined those junior boards and now are part of organizations where they're helping them shape the future. So there's a lot of opportunity to take what they've learned. And then we also expose them to a lot of volunteer opportunities in their communities. And I think the last one is we have so many alumni from our adult program that in cases where it makes sense, we hook them up with a mentor that can help them if they know what field they want to go into. Perhaps we can hook them up with a mentor from our adult program to help them as they maneuver through their career journey.
Susan Holliday with us from Leadership Oakland, their executive director, as we discuss their Junior Leadership Oakland program open to students all across the Oakland County area. You can find more information and get your kids involved in that on leadershipoakland.com. Again, leadershipoakland.com. And Susan, you've emphasized this so much throughout our conversation today about how much community service, community involvement, getting these kids not just in the classroom and reading about leadership and talking about leadership, but actually seeing it in action right here in their hometowns. So what role ultimately does that participation in the community from these students and vice versa, the community participating in this program to help these students, what role does that really play in ultimately these great results you see from this?
I think one of the things, we have some dynamic speakers that come in and meet with them. It gives them an opportunity to make some connections. Maybe there's something they learn in those 3 days, or we visit a site. We do a couple, visits to corporations and organizations in the county where they might be able to then take that step and go volunteer with that organization. So we promote public leadership as much as, their own personal and professional leadership in the program.
And so, Susan, this is a great program. It'll look great on a resume. It'll look great on a college application. But not every kid knows that they want to go to college. They don't know what their career is going to be. They may not even be thinking that far ahead because they're 15, 16, 17 years old. So in those cases, what ultimately do you think will entice kids to be interested in this program? And really, why should they be at the point that they're at, even if they're not looking very far forward into their future?
Yeah, I think one of the things from the program, one of the things we introduced last year is to bring in some of those career paths. We brought in an entrepreneur, somebody from the medical field, an attorney, so to expose them to some of the careers that are out there, in addition to a 4-year degree, so that it gave them opportunities to kind of take a peek at maybe some things they didn't think about. We also, pair this really nicely with our Acorn to Oak Youth Grant program. So we promote that program within Junior Leadership Oakland so that maybe there's an idea there that they want to pursue, and we can help them with a grant to help them move forward in that capacity as well.
Ultimately, at the end of this program, for the students that participate year in and year out and come into this program, go out of this program, and go on to do a number of different things, what do you hope is the ultimate takeaway for each of these individuals?
My thing is finding their passion and what they really want to do. It might not be, like you said, a 4-year degree at a college. So exposing them to a lot of different opportunities while they're young. And that's why we accept freshmen, so they can learn not only from the other students in the program, but from the speakers in the field trips that we do. So something might spark an interest and they can then pursue that. So that's our goal, is to just showcase there's so many opportunities out there, and then hopefully they can take that passion that they have and actually pursue that.
So Susan, take us a little bit through the timeline of this program. When can students apply to get into this? When are some of these activities throughout the year?
Yeah, good question. So the program, the applications opened on February 1st on our website, and the program is actually going to be run at Walsh College on June 16th through the 18th. It's a free 3-day workshop. So for any high school student, we provide food at the event, the transportation for the field trip. All they need to do is get back and forth to Walsh College. The times are 8:30 to 4:30 on those 3 days.
8:30 to 4:30.
The deadline, I should mention the deadline for applications is May 31st, and the program will be June 16th through the 18th.
So that's June 16th through the 18th, 8:30 to 4:30. Applications are due in early May, but they're open as we speak on leadershipoakland.com. Susan, before we let you go, anything else people should know about the Junior Leadership Oakland program?
No, I would just say take a leap of faith and apply. It's a great opportunity for you to meet other students. Like I said, one of the things we talk about how to get out of your comfort zone, and it's just a really worthwhile educational experience. I actually have a dad who called me 2 years ago, and one of the highlights of his daughter's application was our program, and they mentioned that in their interview, and she was accepted to a university that she really wanted to go to. So there's a lot of those little success stories. So I just say, apply, just apply, and we'd love to have you in the program this summer.
Fantastic results we've been hearing all throughout our conversation today, Susan, and hopefully some more of those journeys being undertaken as kids go into the Junior Leadership Oakland program. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, Tyler.
You as well. Susan Holliday joining us from Leadership Oakland, as kids are going to get the opportunity in just a few months to maybe gain some mentors, learn some information that will help them grow as leaders, both while they're still in high school as they go off to college or into the career field later on, and hopefully achieve many of their dreams as they emerge into adulthood. For the rest of us in our community, leadership is an ongoing effort. So how have different leaders in industry, in politics, in government, and in so many more elements of our community got to the pinnacle of their respective career paths? That's something that's being explored in Leading the Way, a new series from Oakland Schools. And joining us now is the star of their very first episode and the superintendent of Oakland Schools, Ken Gutman, to tell us even more. Thank you so much for being with us today, sir.
Always a pleasure, Tyler. Nice to see you.
Good to see you as well into your new leadership role in Oakland schools in 2025 as their superintendent. So from your perspective at the head of the offices in Oakland schools, why is it important for your organization to explore leadership not only in our school systems locally, but across the board in our community?
Yeah, across the state, across the nation as well, Tyler. We have an obligation as an intermediate school district to provide support and leadership for our district. But there's also a greater need for support across the state and across the country. These are really important times for our schools, really important times for our country. And we want to make sure that we can share some expertise. And when we don't have it, to bring in experts.
And so in this series, what are you exploring? As you mentioned, you're talking to experts in leadership in various capacities across our school systems in Oakland County and even beyond. What are we looking into as we examine leadership and how it affects all of our kids here in Greater West Bloomfield?
Thank you, Tyler. I'm really proud of Dandridge Floyd, our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources and Labor Relations. She does a really nice job interviewing people. From Haley Stevens to Tarek Soap, who's the president of Lawrence Technological University, and others, to see what lessons they've learned in their leadership journey. She's picked some really great people to say, what did you learn? How did you learn it? What do other people need to know? And so these are accomplished leaders, and she's asking them some really open, honest, poignant questions. And there are a number of lessons to be learned from these leaders.
And what's really important and what is interesting from these different conversations is these are leaders in so many different areas of education and of the greater community. As you mentioned, Representative Haley Stevens, she gets to see this from a national level, a federal level, while also supporting that leadership on the local level, these university presidents, and even those within Oakland schools seeing this variety. So how do you hope that these diverse topics help to address some of the community needs in Greater West Bloomfield and throughout Oakland County as well?
Yeah, the West Bloomfield community is such a wonderful community, rich and diverse, and so much leadership that exists within the community. I think what this does is say, where do we see some similarities? Where are we alike within the community, and where do we have challenges? And so when you think about it from a leadership perspective, where can we partner to make a difference? We know there are so many community leaders. We know there are community leaders who are not outwardly leading in the community from the front, but their voices are in the room. And then when we can coordinate that and maybe advance some conversations throughout the community, the goal is to bring people together to create an even richer community in West Bloomfield.
Kenneth Gutman is with us, the superintendent of Oakland Schools, our intermediate school district, or ISD, serving Greater West Bloomfield and many other school districts across the Oakland County area as they introduce their new leadership program, Leading the Way, which you'll see regularly right here on Civic Center TV and listen to it on 89.3 Lakes FM. People come up to me all the time, Ken, and they want to watch over a segment that I've done on the Splash with them and comment on it, and they rewatch a segment of it that they really enjoy. I don't like watching myself on TV very much, looking back at it, especially with other people, although I'll do it in an evaluatory mode in that case. So, pretty inappropriate, I'd say, then, for me to say, let's go ahead and have you watch your episode back. We got the first episode of Leading the Way. We're going to premiere that on Civic Center TV as we speak right here on the Splash Live and learn a little bit of leadership insight from the man himself and his friends at Oakland Schools.
Welcome to Leading the Way, Oakland Schools video series highlighting influential leaders throughout Oakland County. Today we are joined by our very own Mr. Kenneth Gutman, Superintendent of Oakland Schools. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Well, with 33 years of education experience, 15 as a superintendent, there's no person better to sit in this seat to talk about leadership. So can you tell us just a little bit about what was your leadership journey and how you got to be the superintendent of Oakland Schools?
Well, thank you so much. And I'm really honored to be the superintendent of Oakland Schools. I knew I wanted to be a superintendent since I was a young child, and people laugh when I say that, but my father had spent almost 40 years in education, most of it at the central office level. Wow. this is what I've always wanted to do if I could not become a goalie in the NHL. And so it's the traditional path. I was a teacher, I was an assistant principal, assistant superintendent of human resources, and then spent a year as an assistant superintendent of human resources, curriculum, and instruction. And then from there became a superintendent in one district, moved to a district that was twice the size, and came here as a deputy a couple of years ago. And here I am as superintendent. I'm really excited to be here.
Wonderful. So on that journey, what is some career advice that you wish someone would have given you early on?
Probably to listen more than you speak. So often people think leaders have to have all the answers. We don't. We have to surround ourselves with really smart people and be humble enough to listen to what they say. If we think we're the smartest people in the room, we're not.
That is so very true. I'm often not the smartest person in the room. What is a truth about leadership that people don't often talk about, but it's really important?
I would say probably just vulnerability. You know, authenticity. When you put on this air that you're going to be the superintendent, are you really being true to who you are? It's that admitting you don't know everything. It's the vulnerability of making mistakes and owning them. So if you're authentic, people tend to understand that you really do care, that you're focused in the right areas. When you put on a show, people don't trust you. And when people don't trust you, the organization doesn't go the right way.
Oakland School's new episode series, Leading the Way, is premiered on YouTube, and you'll see it here regularly on Civic Center TV and tune into it on 89.3 Lakes FM. The star of their first episode, Kenneth Gutman, Oakland School's superintendent, joins us today on the Splash Live. And Ken, you talk about so many different aspects of leadership in this series. We saw a snippet of that very first episode, just about 5 minutes long, each of these all together as they come out week by week. Who is this for? Who do you think it really is the most important groups of people in our community to tune into a series like this and learn something about leadership?
Just like you, I don't like to watch myself in that sort of setting. But I will tell you that I think this can benefit, not necessarily my episode, but the others. It could benefit anyone in the community. I do think that when you look at some of the students in our community who may choose to watch this, parents, community members, again, we have so much in common in terms of the way we look at leadership. And I think that we can all benefit from the conversation about what makes good leaders. If we don't have leadership, where are we? And I think about education, but some of the lessons that you'll hear from others in this series, I think about Haley Stevens and the lessons you'll hear from her. And I think you start to realize that no matter what the sector, leadership is leadership. And that starts really young. There are leaders in elementary school and middle school and high school, and I'm talking about students. We can identify those student leaders. And it's really important to recognize that the loudest leaders aren't always the leader, that there are those who are quietly leading. And I think those lessons transcend all organizations and all sectors.
Something that people of all ages can learn right here in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond. Ken Gutman, Oakland School Superintendent, with us on the Splash Live. Thank you, as always, for your time, sir.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, Tyler. Thank you.
Appreciate having him on to talk more about Leading the Way. As I mentioned in my conversation with him just a moment ago, you can find that episode right now on Civic Center TV. It will be playing throughout the day in between all of our other major programs that you see on Civic Center TV and listen to on 89.3 Lakes FM all throughout the day. And tune in for new episodes all throughout the year, month to month, as they introduce us to different leaders from across Greater West Bloomfield and beyond and tell us a little bit about their journey into their leadership positions. Close to home, kids are back in school this week after a short week last week for midwinter break. But the learning that they have in the classroom continued in the early portions of the week with President's Day and their second day off last week over at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. A variety of programs, including arts and crafts, some games, and some Black History Month learning experiences were among the different activities that kids of all different ages enjoyed in the kids' play area over at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Now, if they missed out on that, there's plenty of more programs still ongoing, including even this week. You can learn more about these ongoing programs and other special events just for the kids and families on wblib.org or visit the library's Facebook page at West Bloom LIB, facebook.com/West Bloom LIB. Of course, a big topic of conversation in our community of late has been fire safety, with a number of structure fires at homes and more across Greater West Bloomfield in the last several weeks. And so that fire education, what often begins at home, continues even in the classroom, as it did late last week at Chico Elementary School, where they had some very special visitors, firefighters and paramedics from the West Bloomfield Township Fire Department joining them for a special visit, going over many important lessons that kids can immediately employ at home and talk to their families about as well, including keeping those bedroom doors closed at night when you're sleeping in case a fire does break out. Helps to prevent the spread a little bit more safely for those bedrooms. Of course, checking in on your smoke detectors, new alarms if they are 10 years or older, start looking discolored, new batteries every couple of months as well. You should check in on them, testing those alarms, escape plans, all the basics, and of course the ever important lesson for kids to learn at a young age: don't play with fire. It's very dangerous. And so they learned that early on, and they learned really helpful lessons from the West Bloomfield Township Fire Department. Now, you can also learn a lot of those lessons to keep up to date with the latest information you need to know close to home from the West Bloomfield Fire Department on their Facebook page at WB Fire Department. Again, that's Facebook at WB Fire Department. And if you're looking to get out in the great outdoors for a little bit of fun this week, go ahead and hit the trails. Not only the West Bloomfield Trail off of Orchard Lake and into Keagle Harbor and throughout the greater West Bloomfield community, but did you know there's also some fun trails behind West Bloomfield Town Hall? The team at West Bloomfield Parks got on the trails and tested them out, as well as their snowshoe program late last week to learn about the basics so they can answer your questions and, of course, test out the gear to make sure it's ready to go as we're in peak snowshoe season right here in Greater West Bloomfield. If you're looking to join in on that fun experience, you can do so right away. wbparks.org/snowshoe, or visit their Facebook page for more information on fun events indoors and outdoors. Facebook.com/WBParks. Just like that, we are out of time on today's edition of the Splash Live. I encourage you to stay with us on social media: Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, YouTube, X, and Instagram at Civic Center TV. And of course, join us each and every day throughout your work week for the latest from across Greater West Bloomfield. Big thank you to our entire team at Master Control: Calvin Brown, Kevin McIntosh, and Jake Schaff. For our entire team, I'm Tyler Kieft. Live, local, social, this has been the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.